Hey everybody. Welcome to the Noah Ask podcast. I'm here today to ask some fun philosophical questions with my also unprofessional friend, the Joey.
Hi, it's me, Joey.
Yeah, it is. So today I'm gonna ask some fun old questions about our favorite subject, which is school. So,
Woo! We
ooh.
we love it so much that we agreed to pay thousands of dollars to go to it. Isn't that
Yeah.
right, Noah?
What else have I paid thousands of dollars to go to?
Uh, hmm. Actually, I don't think I paid thousands of dollars for anything else. School is like
Right?
at this point in our life, school is the most expensive thing that we have ever bought. Bought,
Yeah.
bought.
And
And
like even like most cars don't even like reach the price of school. Like
yeah, I hope not. Could you
no,
imagine
same.
going to fucking $120,000 car?
You
Like,
don't pay that much for school, do you?
I mean, I'm just kind of extrapolating for like
Mhm,
some people. I guess some people pay that much. I don't know. I
mhm.
do I want to say how much debt I'm in? Should I do that? Should I say how
I
much
don't
debt
know.
I'm in on camera?
That keeps you liable. I don't know. It's not
It's
like you can escape it either way. So,
yeah, it's like I mean, I will say that I am in less than most people because of my heritage and because of my situation with my father.
yeah.
Um
Yeah, yeah.
but I'm
Mhm.
not in I'm in I'll put it this way. I'm in less than $40,000 worth of debt right now. For
Yeah.
now. For now. I
Mhm.
have 2 more years of school left. So, but yeah, no, school's fucking pricey. I don't
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. And why what made you think of this lovely topic, Noah?
Because right now, in this real time,
Oh,
it is finals for
yeah.
us.
Hey, Noah,
So,
I just realized something real quick. I know we're live streaming to all of our lovely viewers. We didn't start recording.
oh boy. Uh-oh.
Uh, because for all you lovely people here on YouTube, we record these separately from the what you guys are seeing here, so that we can put them up on Spotify and other platforms. I say Spotify first because I like Spotify, but
Mhm.
we use Anchor, who may or may not be a sponsor of this podcast. Thank you, Anchor.
Thank you.
You guys heard Noah's lovely voice talk before this, but
Mhm.
so yeah, do you want to you want to give me a countdown so we can start recording?
Yeah. Three,
Oh wait, hold
two.
on, wait. You're
Oh
good at
no. Oh no.
48,000, right?
Yeah, I'm at 48,000.
Okay, okay,
I
sorry.
ain't no
Go.
scrub. Okay, three, two, one,
All right,
and we
cool.
are recording.
Yeah. Did you go
And
on one or right after one? I don't know. Well, you know what? It's fine.
on
I'll
one.
fix it in post.
We always
I
do on
mean,
one. So.
yeah, Derek will fix it. It's fine. Okay. You want to do another intro?
Yeah. So, hey everyone, we're back again. So today we're doing a lovely little podcast called Noah Asked, and today I'm going to be asking about school to my main man, the Joey.
Hey, it's me, the Joey. I'm here for your
And
ears.
this is a subject where we are bona fide experts because we have both gone to school at least once. So
Mhm. Yeah, at least once.
at least once.
Yeah.
I'm not going to guarantee the number of classes I've been to because I can't say I go to all of them. That's a lie.
Ooh, hey, Noah, easy there. You're telling me that you pay insert astronomically high number in the thousands here to not go to your classes? Come on, Noah. What are
Wait,
you
mom, are
doing?
you listening? Uh-oh. I go to all of my classes.
Yeah. See,
Oh
I
man.
I'm a good child and I don't lie to my mother, or I don't pretend to be someone that I'm not. So I straight up told her how like every time I skip a class, well not every time, but like whenever she calls me or whatever and she's like, "Aren't you supposed to be in class?" or like I'm texting her. I'm like,
Mhm,
"Well, yeah. Am I? No. Um but that's just life. That's the way cookie crumbles."
mhm.
Uh if you do go to all of your classes, good on you. What do you want? A fucking cookie? You already have a good GPA. Get the fuck out of here.
Or you don't have a good GPA and you're just wasting your time. So
See, that amazes me. People who go to all the other classes and still fail or like still
Mhm,
like don't do well. It's like, what do you do? Like, what are you doing in your classes? Like,
mhm.
what? How are you?
In
What?
my history class yesterday, I saw a dude watching like football film and it was like with like the drawings over it. So like I guess analysis of football plays and stuff. And I was
Huh?
like, but you're paying to be here. You can watch football anytime. Like
Hmm.
explain to me why you're doing this.
Yeah, and it's to be fair though, I pay an awful lot of money to have like, an ethics class and a screenwriting class, which I like. I'm just not terribly like amazing at. Um and what's the other class I do it in? No, I think it's just those two. I pay a fair amount of money for each of those. And those have become my art classes where during the class, instead of taking notes, I'll draw in my notebook. Um, it's fine. It's okay. It's
Mhm.
whatever. Still, not to brag, don't want to brag. I still got invited to the honor society. So they're like, hey, you have great grades. Would you want to come and be part of this? You can come to this seminar. I'm like, fine. All the people in the honor system seem like really stressed and anxious all the time. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to be around other anxious people.
For sure. And like my honor society at my little community college was like, hey, I know you're trying to save money and this whole thing is about getting scholarships, but you should
Mhm.
pay us to be a part of this. And I'm like, I don't know if
Yeah,
I'm about to drop $100 to do that. So
like what's up with that? Like they're like, oh wow, you're doing amazing, and you're like, we see you're doing great here, and that you've got all these like scholarships and whatever. It's like, you want to pay us it's like some money so that you can like be part of the honor society. It's like, well, I don't really want to pay you to be there. I thought the whole point of like having good grades was so that you got more money, not that I paid you more money. Like I'm paying for the school already. And so yeah, and it just seems sketchy to me, like especially when like because one sent me to another website. It sent me off of KU to some like National Honor Society or something, and I
mhm.
was like, I don't trust this. I'm not gonna put my banking information into this random website.
Yeah, and like I don't know, like let's be honest, I don't have the motivation to apply for scholarships, so that's another issue altogether.
Yeah, it's but okay. So let's talk about this since we're talking about schooling a little bit. So other countries have free schooling, and it's like built into like their taxes and stuff.
hmm
How do you know how that works exactly?
I'm not sure with like secondary education,
Hmm.
like I assume it would follow kind of the same policies as like our lower education, but I'm not entirely sure how it works. So,
Yeah. All right. Well,
well, that got shot down.
thanks
I'm
thanks
sorry.
for listening to the podcast, guys.
This is
Well, no,
called Noah
I'm
got
just saying
asked
like
and
it's
he failed.
yeah. Well, well, I guess it's called Noah asked.
Mhm.
Joey asked. It's not. Yeah. Nope. Joe. There's a reason that this show isn't called that. It's because one, it's not as much of a play on words. Two,
Mhm.
Joey doesn't ask the questions. I'm sorry, oh great sir, for asking a question. Would you like to ask me a question about my schooling? This is just
Sure.
like it's like Christmas time. That's coming up too. It's like I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna get a lot of questions about my school, and I'm not gonna know how to answer any of them.
Hello, whippersnapper. Like, what is your degree plan and like what is your 5-year plan and where are you gonna be in the future? And
Grandpa, for the last time, my name is not Whippersnapper.
really, I
Um,
could have sworn that's what was on your birth certificate.
Grandpa, please. You thought you killed Nazis, you didn't. Um, anyways,
Anyways,
I'll stop derailing your show.
um, so yeah, I've been thinking because we're both in our younger years. I guess I'm a year behind you because I started later, but
Uh-huh.
we're in that time where it's like we thought we were going to college to do what we wanted to do, and we're
Hmm.
still like kind of just doing like the basics. And it's like, when is that stuff coming? Like, why isn't that like structured in like right away? I guess is what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot too because so this semester I've struggled a lot mentally, to be honest. You come to this show for vulnerability. Uh, I I struggled a lot with my mental health this semester, partially because, and I think I've talked about this on a couple other podcasts. It's a big place, and I'm a new person, and I thought I was social before I came here, and now that I realize it's like I think I have social anxiety, or like some like low level, because like very clearly it's like I'm not dying if I like even like try to talk to someone new. Like I'll ask a stranger for help in like a grocery aisle or something like that. But it's I think that I'm much less social than I thought I was. So I struggled with the idea of, well, I'm not doing a lot of what I want right now. Uh this is my third semester in college. Uh or not third semester, third year in college. I should be a junior. I'm a sophomore because I transferred. There's all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, I'm not doing what I want. And I started doing this YouTube thing with Noah, and I really, really, really like this. Like, I look forward to this every week. Not only do I get to see your lovely, beautiful face, I get to like make content for other people to enjoy. And speaking of which, sorry, people who listened to I don't know though last week and gave me tons of feedback. I honestly I was overwhelmed with how much people actually liked our show. They actually thought that we were funny, and I was like, whoa, all right. But yeah, thank you to you guys. So the question I came asking was the same one that you asked me. It's like, why am I in school for something that I love if I'm not actually getting to do what I like? And I know I got a little bit long-winded there. Uh, the end of it is that I had been contemplating dropping out. So the reason I'm not dropping out is because I hear your junior year is when you kind of get to start doing things. You get to start playing with your big toys. For me, it's like I get to start helping out in production classes where we're actually working with equipment and like, you know, playing director, playing audio technician, playing whatever. But it is really odd to me that we don't have more of that built into the front end. Like, or at the very least built into the back end of high school. So the big thing that you're referring to right now is the prereqs, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you know, when you go to like your classes, for those of you who aren't in college or who haven't been to college, you've probably heard like this term thrown around. Prereq stands for prerequisite. It is a class you have to take to get into another class. It's basically an introductory to it. Other places call these things foundations classes. They're all the same thing. It's just basically we want to make sure you have the correct knowledge so that you will be set up to succeed and yada yada yada. But some of these prereqs don't matter. For instance, I am a film major. I'm a film major with a theater minor and an emphasis in production, meaning that I want to make entertainment and I want to act. I am enrolled. Now this is gonna rock your world. I am enrolled in a geology class.
What?
Can I get a what was that called? A rim shot? Thank you. But thank you, Derek. I am enrolled in a geology class next semester because it fulfills a physical science credit that I am required to have. Otherwise, I cannot graduate with my BGS. That's a Bachelor of General Studies. So to me, that's ridiculous, you know, and I don't know why.
See,
You
I was
know?
actually in a history class this semester, and we were talking about the concept of a Renaissance man. And one of the ideas is that a Renaissance man has deep knowledge in one subject, but is proficient in a lot of subjects.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a possibility that the idea is we just kept the idea of a Renaissance man and just moved it on. So it's like, oh, we want you to like pick your study, but we also want you to like know a little bit about everything. And that's a little frustrating that we keep something from the 1400s. Like,
yeah,
I feel like we've innovated a lot, but not this, our education system.
I mean, it's not that I have a problem with being well-rounded. It's that I just like, and especially for me because I am a third year. I just want to fucking make stuff. I just want to actually do what my goddamn major is, you know? And I don't know a whole lot about other colleges. I know there are I know this isn't the right word for film, I don't think. But for lack of a better word, there are conservatories where you are just being taught exactly like what you need to do. Conservatories, when I think of them, that's more for theater, that's for singing, that's that kind of stuff. They only teach you like 9 hours a day of, if you're a vocalist, how to be a vocalist, how to sing, how to sight read, all that kind of stuff. But I just at a 4-year university, it's like I'd rather take 4 years of film classes and not have to deal with this other BS. Like, you know, I know
we put up with all that BS during the high school. So you'd think that like we got well-rounded, like now it's our time. But
yeah,
even that they started to be like, well, actually, we want you to get through all these too. So
and so it's like I feel like it should be built into high school more. And I'm sure that in 20 years, when somebody finally decides to comment on our videos, they'll be like, hey, wait a minute, you know, isn't that what like college courses are in high school? It's like, yes, that's exactly what they are. why don't we have like more of those? And even if we don't have like more of them, why are they not more readily available in everywhere? So you and I went to the same high school. We went to this small. How many people would you say are in this high school?
When we graduated, it's probably around 300.
300? And 300 people. That's tiny. Uh and we took our prereq for English. Uh and they offer the other ones, but they take up a whole slot. And as a senior, you have to have like all of the other stuff done before you can be in those classes. And so it's like I don't know. I feel like there's a better way to do it than what we do it to, other than to waste our first like year or 2 years in college doing it. Uh, but maybe I'm just bad. Maybe I'm just a bad prepper.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know why like companies don't take on interns as like an educational thing.
Mhm,
Like I guess that's a big risk for them. Whereas if they can get like someone with a degree, then they're like, oh, well, someone else took the risk, and now we can
mhm,
just hire them. But you'd think like, oh, what if like Pepsi wanted to hire me to be like uh stock analytics or something,
mhm.
and so they could just train me perfectly in the stocks that they like want me to understand, and then you'd
Well,
be really personalized.
sometimes they do that. Actually, Sonic tried to snipe me for that. I used to be. We've gone over this 1,000 times before. I used to manage Sonic. They wanted me to not go to college. For what I wanted to go for, they're like, "Hey, go to college. We will pay for it entirely. You will be a GM of like these stores. We'll pay for your business classes, uh, and you'll just work at Sonic for the rest of your life." Uh, I think that comes with a few more hitches than what they were like letting on. I think it's more of like you don't have to pay for it now, but if we pay for these classes, you have to work for us for 10 years, like that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Uh, isn't always bad. You get a quote unquote free education, and you assumedly don't go to some like back room, Brown Mackey College kind of thing, where it's just like, oh yeah, here's a room with a bunch of other people who are being trained to go to Sonic, and we're going to give you our Sonic education kind of thing. Uh, but nah, no, there should be more about that. I think it's an advertising thing. I think that there's some people who or some places that just straight up don't know about these things, because I think it is more prevalent than we think, but I think you have to like work there, and then you get offered that kind of thing. Whereas, as a high schooler, your summer jobs typically aren't things you can pursue a career in. And so I think it would be cool if they sniped more high schoolers. I don't know, had more career fairs. It's like, hey, come like internship here. And even if it's like, okay, we're not paying you a lot, like we'll pay you like this much, but it's like in a thing that you're interested in. And as a high schooler, I would absolutely have jumped on that because, I had no choice in high school.
And I feel like that's super important as a high schooler because so many high schoolers, they're only like exposed to like local like retail jobs,
Hmm.
teaching, and whatever their parents' job is.
Yep.
And like so you have no exposure. Like if I wanted to be an engineer, I have no idea what that involves. And so
Hmm.
just like something like that, like going to an engineering, you could like get like a feel for it for just like a
Hmm.
semester or something. And there'd be a lot less risk. And that would also get you exposed to a lot more things. And I think that could really be beneficial to young people trying to make decisions about their life.
Hmm. So do you think that we should have like, I know there's already like career days and stuff at high school sometimes. Do you think that there should be more like field trip career days where it's like, maybe the school looks at like the students' exams, and I guess they kind of do this. What's it called where they take the test and they tell you what you'd be good at? Um,
Oh, I forget what that's called, but just like a personality test that equates you to a certain job.
yeah, there is some test for it. I forgot what it is, but like they should look at those tests and be like, all right, here's like the options for things that you're good at. If you're interested in any of these, the school like will cover like a field trip for all of the children that are like invested in that. There's just like,
Hmm.
you know, because typically if you're good at a subject, you usually like it. Um, so it's like, oh, you're not like taking some kid. It's like, cool. I didn't want to be an engineer, but he's like a whiz at math, or like I didn't want to be a mathematician. Granted, sometimes it happens. I know that you're great at math, and but I also know that you like to act and you want to perform. So, that's something that's like completely different off in that other direction. But I think a majority of people, if they're like super blessed with something and they're like, you generally are like, oh, I'm a huge fan of this. I'm not saying that you hate math, but there's the outliers is what I'm kind of
Mhm.
saying. So what do you think of that? Like more field trips out to see what there is.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was like our eighth grade, and I'm not sure if you're there or not, but there
No.
was a time where they couldn't like fit in like all these different like electives for our young classes,
Hmm.
and you didn't get a pick. So they like for 6 weeks of the semester they put you in art, and then 6 weeks they put you in Spanish, and then 6 weeks they put you in something else.
Hmm.
And so like it gave you like just enough a feel of each of them. So when you got into high school, you would like know which elective you wanted to take if you wanted to try to
Hmm.
do another language or an art. So like maybe you could do that with jobs, but like from high
Hmm.
school to college. So it's like, oh, here's like this semester or this like 8 weeks, like we'll show you around this job, and then or even like a summer thing.
Yeah,
And so it's like embedded into the school system. And so I just think that'd be really beneficial.
I do too. I think it'd be like really great. I would have loved to have like that kind of exposure. I mean, I don't know. I had like a really interesting school experience. So for those of you who don't know, which I assume would be most of you, so I went to public school for how long? From first grade until sixth grade, and then between the years 7 and 10, yes, between 7 and 10, I was homeschooled, and so I lived on a farm by myself in my room. Pretty much taught myself. I didn't learn anything. I to this day do not think I actually picked up a single skill from the classes that I took in homeschool. Uh, that's the kind of thing you need a lot of self moderation and discipline for, which at the time I didn't because I didn't care. It was like all these classes. It's like, of course, I'm not going to want to like teach myself these classes. Uh, it's just like, oh, who wants to teach themselves English? It's like, yeah, let me just read all these books. Fucking nerd. I know people who are like that, but but like, I wasn't interested in any of that, and so that's when I like started getting into all of this kind of stuff, and I started my first YouTube channel, and I did uh, film and video. And from then on, I was like, oh, I know exactly what I want to do. And so I think just talking to them, like having more sessions where it's like you speak to the child and kind of understand with them. You're given advisors and everything at that age, I know, right? Do you have an advisor in middle school?
Yeah, I think you have like the school counselor anyways who
Yeah.
like is like assigned to you. I don't know like how depending on the size of your school, it could be assigned to 100 different kids, and so
Hmm.
you might have to like mandatorily see them once or something.
Yeah, I want to make that more. I think if you pump that up and like learn like what is the kid like? What do you like to
Mhm.
do? Like what are things you're interested in? What are TV shows you like? What are like dreams and passions? And then like learn what those are and then just cut him down from the inside and make him just a cog in the machine and shove him into some part of society where like I don't care if you want to be an actor, all right? We need more doctors, we need more farmers. You're gonna give here's a pitchfork, start shoveling hay, all right? No. But yeah, no, like if we did that and learned what they wanted, then it's easier from there to go on. Because if someone had come to me my formative years when I was like, even an eighth grader and been like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you like? I would have been like, oh, well, I love Rooster Teeth and I like Red versus Blue and Minecraft. And they're like, okay, well, from that, we could deduce like a video game designer, a filmmaker, a voice actor. It's like something along those lines. And so, I think just talking to a kid and giving them a goddamn choice because so many times like in public school you just don't have a choice in anything that you're given until high school, and even then your choices are like super limited.
Yeah,
So
you have a choice, but you have to fill out this very specific bracket that
mhm,
basically fills up all your time.
yep.
And yeah,
And
I
then
definitely
yeah.
think since there's a lot of like shooting and stuff, especially at the beginning of the year, I had thought like, oh, like maybe like there should be more like assigned therapists. Like your counselor
Mhm.
should be more of like, oh, like everyone has to mandatorily see me like for an hour, like once a month or something. So you got to like
Mhm.
schedule that into your school time.
Mhm.
And if you could combine that with someone who like also knew about like job fields and stuff, then it's
Mhm.
like, oh, like I'm just here to learn about this kid for the next 4 years. And
Mhm.
then whether I have to help him mentally or help him with his jobs or his future, like I feel like that could be a good and valuable position in a
Oh,
school
hell
system.
yeah. No, I think that'd be amazing, and not only that, on top of that, we would have a lot more jobs created with people who are, like, wanna be developmental psychologists, people who wanna, like, uh, you could hire 2 different people there. Granted, I know education funding, it's a bitch, uh, but that would create more jobs and create more like, need for budget, and so maybe they would be given more budget, hopefully, if you could make a solid case for this, because if we're not gonna put more on, not to get political, not to, like, put more hold on, like, gun rights and stuff, then we should at least, start taking care of our people's mental health so that they aren't losing their shit like this and going out and retaliating violently. We should give them the option to talk to someone.
For sure. And I think that because like these kids who are like upset and like do these things like shootings or suicides or something, it's like usually because they feel alone.
Mhm.
I feel like that is probably the primary cause. And so this could like help eliminate that. Like even if it's not like it doesn't stop everything, of course, but there's someone like there who's like assigned to listen to you. I feel like
Mhm.
that could help a lot of people.
Yeah, and of course, like, it'd have to be genuine and all that, and good therapists are, but what I'm saying is like assigned to them is, it's the word for it, it's what they are, but at the same time, you just want them to be their friend. They don't want to like have to feel like it's like, oh yes, I'm assigned to you, I'm your handler, blah 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 blah. You want
Mhm.
it to be
Yeah, assigned
their
is
friends.
like it's a very bureaucracy word, but
Yeah,
yeah, what I mean is like I am here for you and I can't not be here for you. Like
yeah.
you
I
get me
think
whether
that's
you want to or not, and I
yeah, I
want
think
to be
that's a
here
better
for you.
word for it. Is like
Hmm.
have someone be there for them. Uh, but yeah, I think that'd help a lot. I don't know.
Hmm.
Did we answer the question? What was the question?
I think so. There was something in there. There was a question at one point.
Yeah,
Uh,
all right. But
for sure.
but yeah, just like help cut down on school shootings, help with mental health, because I God knows I could have used help with my mental health in my high school years. I could use help with mental health right now. I could use
Yeah,
help
let's
with
have
my
some
physical
college
health.
therapists. Come on.
But with I think there are like help groups here, but
Mhm.
I think do you think that colleges should take more into their student mental health well-being? Do you think that like you should be like scheduled so you have your advisor who, at least here, the way it works is you see them twice a semester, maybe. So it's like you see them at the beginning, make sure your classes are good. If you want to like see them again to be like, hey, my classes suck, I don't want to do these classes, that's fine. And you see them again at the end of the semester to choose your next semester classes. What if in that same time, like we kind of scheduled or said should be scheduled in high school, we did a therapy thing where it's like, hey, once every 2 months, you can up it if you want to, but like at first for like even like the first semester or even like the first year, maybe 2 years, like we had something where to do that because I don't know a lot about your college experience because yours is very much different than mine. Uh, but I remember when I went to college at first, that first winter, I almost lost a bunch of friends just because like talking about dropping out, they were all like horribly like either homesick or depressed and just like not happy with their classes. So there's another big thing there, another reason to have us be able to have the classes we want to take, Um and so like what would you think of that? Do you think that would add too much to the cost of college or
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, these colleges are building buildings left and right, and they can't like spend the money that's not on the college.
Mhm.
It's like it can't go to a person unless you're like at a private school. But like
Yeah.
this public school money just has to kind of go into a fund. So I don't think it would add to the cost that much. And
Mhm.
yeah, if you handled it like an advisor, where it's like, okay, you're going to meet me on your orientation day, then
Mhm.
that way you could just like know that they exist. And then like, oh, if you ever want to schedule an appointment, I'm here, I'm free. And then so you don't have to
Mhm.
hire a ton of them. You just have to have enough for like for people to schedule appointments like throughout the month and stuff.
Yeah. No, and I think that'd be good too because yeah, I know of it's called CAPS. It's the I don't even know what CAPS stands for. Something about people S. Um, um but like it's the kind of like group sessions and then they have like therapists there that you can see. I've never been to the floor of the wellness center that has it in it. I have never talked to anyone from there. I saw their video once on like a Facebook post, but that was it. It's like I think that having that like during orientation where it's like this is where the mental wellness center is. This is where you can go to talk to someone. I think it's a great idea because and on my orientation we can talk about this too and we'll talk about this more probably after you have the orientation here. uh the orientations here kind of suck. It's like, all right, so you're gonna go off with an ambassador. They're gonna walk around. Your feet are gonna hurt because we're gonna walk like 5 miles and this entire campus is hills. um and they're gonna be like, hey, this is where those people study, this is where those people study. Did we have anybody who was an engineering major? This is the engineering building, it is called engineering. And then we have like, you know, a summer field, that's where you'll go, and I get pointed at because that's where all the film students go. um it's like you kind of live in your own like bubble on campus, but like these orientations, or at least the ones that I went to like the long one too. Like I went to the extended tour that goes from like 10 a.m. until like 5 p.m. Um, and they basically just show you all the buildings, and then they're like, "Yeah, your advisor's over there. Have fun." And that's it. It's like these are all of the buildings, and we didn't even get to all the buildings because the KU is so fucking massive and like spread out. If you wanted to walk by and do all of the buildings, oh my god, it takes so long. But they showed us like the art museum, the geology area and museum. We walked through the business building. And that's like really it. Oh, the dining halls, of course. But that's yeah, like I feel like just adding on to the tour, hey, this is where this is, and like going and like meeting with a social wellness, like someone or other. It's like, hey, would you be interested in this? Hey, is this like something you'd want? Or just like sitting down and talking to them, and you know, even if it's just like right after your advisor, you know, just like going like, hey, what's up, these are your classes. And it's like, okay, cool, just like go to this building here and talk to this person. So man, it's mandatory to talk to them. You don't have to talk to them for very long if you don't want to, that kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
I feel like it kind of went off on a rant there, sorry.
No, yeah. And I feel like things like that where it's like, oh, if we make it like just a little bit mandatory, it like
Mhm.
makes a big difference because if like you're not required to do it at all, then you're like either feel like you're not welcome or you're not wanted, or that you're just like, oh, like I don't need this. And so then you'll avoid a lot of this stuff. And so if you just like make it mandatory once, it's like not that much of an inconvenience, but it also like shows you that these things are there and it could really make a big difference. Um, yeah. Another thing I was wondering about was like, since this is the end of the year and we have finals and we're both like stressing about tests and projects and stuff,
Yeah, it's
um,
great.
it's wonderful. It's really making my life good for this next week. But at least I'll be happy afterwards, I hope. And
Yeah.
because things change instantly when things are
No,
over.
no, it'll be fine. No, you're gonna come over sometime in the next couple weeks. We're gonna have a good old day.
For sure. You need to come visit me, but that's a side topic. um, and so I was wondering if like there's a different way. Like I know people always say like, ah, testing is just so you like you teach shows you how you memorize information
Mhm.
as opposed to like learning it. And so I was wondering if there's a better way that you can think of off the top of your
Oh,
head.
hell yeah, projects.
Projects.
Give people research projects. Don't give them like research papers. Fuck research papers. I mean, okay. Hold on, sorry. I'll back up a little bit. If you are a studies major, research papers are great.